You're 7 years old in Western Europe, 50,000 years ago, when a cave lion drags your father's broken body back to camp. The hunting party follows, spears lowered, eyes down. Your mother's screams pierce the winter air, but no one else makes a sound. They can't waste the energy. Grief is a luxury when temperatures drop to -30. The protein in your father's body, that's what matters now. His clothes, tools, and knowledge. All of it gets distributed before his body even cools. His hunting spear goes to his brother, his fur boots to the elder, his flint knife to you. Use it well, the elder says, pressing the blood-crusted blade into your small palm. Tomorrow you learn to hunt. 7 years old, and you're handed the tool that'll determine if you eat or starve. Fun childhood, right? But this isn't weird. This is normal. Every Neanderthal child your age already knows how to identify 50 medicinal plants, track 8 different animals, and start a fire. The concept of childhood as protection from reality, that luxury comes 50,000 years later. All right, before the story, if you're here regularly, subscribe helps me out. Drop a comment with where you're listening from and the time. Yesterday, someone from Portugal said they listen while cooking dinner, and someone from Chicago was using it for a morning commute. Wild. Your father's death actually makes sense once you learn what happened. The hunting party tracked a wounded deer for 3 days. By the 3rd day, everyone was weak from hunger. That's when they walked into the cave lion's territory. A simple mistake, one that cost your father his life. But here's the first lesson of being Neanderthal. Nothing gets wasted. Not emotion, not energy, not meat. So that night, your father's body is prepared for burial, while the tribe feasts on the deer that finally got brought down. The elders cut into your father's skull to remove his brain. It goes into a special bowl made from a turtle shell. Brain matter, especially human brain, contains the densest fat concentrations available. In winter, fat equals survival. Each gram holds 9 calories compared to protein's 4. The math of survival is simple and brutal. The rest of your father is wrapped in deer hide and placed in a shallow pit. They scatter red ochre powder over his body. Then flowers, yes, actual flowers gathered from the few winter blooms. Your people have been burying their dead this way for thousands of generations. Modern archaeologists will later find these graves and be shocked. They'll say, wait, these brutes had burial rituals? They placed flowers on graves? Yeah, they did. The savage cavemen stereotype is garbage. Your people have complex social structures, spiritual beliefs, and traditions that rival any early human culture. Morning comes fast. Your mother wakes you before dawn. Her eyes are swollen but dry. She hands you a small pouch made of rabbit skin. Your father gathered these, she says. Inside are fire-starting tools, a piece of pyrite and flint. Making fire isn't just rubbing sticks together like in cartoons. Your people strike pyrite against flint to create sparks, catching them in dried moss. It takes skill, patience, and precise movements. You've watched your father do it 100 times. It takes you 7 attempts to get a spark to catch. Your fingers bleed from the sharp edges of the stone. No one helps you. No one can afford to. By midday, you're following your uncle through snow-covered forests. He doesn't speak much. Words are precious, used only when necessary. He points to depressions in the snow rabbit tracks. He motions for you to study them. How deep are they? How far apart? How fresh? These aren't random questions. The depth tells you the rabbit's weight. The spacing tells you its speed. The freshness tells you how close it might be. Your life depends on reading these signs correctly. You follow the tracks to a thicket. Your uncle hands you a throwing stick, not a spear. You're too small for that yet. The stick is curved slightly, weighted at one end. He gestures for you to flush out the rabbit. Your heart pounds as you circle around. One chance, one throw. You make a sound and the rabbit bolts. Your arm swings, the stick flies. You miss completely. Your uncle's face doesn't change. No disappointment, no anger, just acceptance. He retrieves the stick, hands it back to you, and points to another set of tracks. You'll try again and again until you hit something or until darkness falls. It takes 4 more attempts before your stick catches a rabbit mid-leap. The crack of its spine breaking sends a shiver through you, but there's no time for squeamishness. Your uncle shows you how to field dress it, slitting the belly, removing the organs, saving the valuable gut contents. Here's something they don't teach you in history class. Neanderthals ate stomach contents of herbivores. The partially digested plant matter was one of the few reliable sources of vitamins during winter months. Modern Inuits still practice this. Your people didn't have grocery stores or vitamin supplements. They had to get creative. The rabbit is small, barely a meal for one person, but it's your first kill. Pride floods your chest as you carry it back to camp. Some of the tribe nod in acknowledgement. No high fives, no congratulations party. Just subtle recognition that you contributed. That night, you sleep better despite the hollow space where your father should be. You've taken your first step toward becoming a provider. Days blur into weeks. Winter deepens. The tribe moves to a limestone cave system you've used for generations. The cave mouth faces south to catch what little winter sun appears. Inside, 8 hearths line the walls, spaced to distribute heat efficiently. Your people understand air circulation and heat management better than most college students today. Your mother takes over your education now. While the men hunt, she teaches you which plants can heal and which can kill. She shows you how to identify yarrow, a powerful antibacterial. She points out poplar trees whose bark contains salicin, basically natural aspirin. Your people have been using these natural pharmacies for at least 50,000 years before some doctor prescribed you amoxicillin. Remember, she says, green fuzz on meat means eat. White fuzz means death. She's talking about mold. Green penicillium mold is safe and can actually prevent infection. White molds often produce deadly toxins. This knowledge won't be discovered by modern medicine for another 49,150 years. Your people already know it. The winter solstice arrives, the darkest day. Your tribe gathers at the cave mouth as the sun touches the horizon. The elders mix red ochre with animal fat and mark everyone's foreheads. No one explains why. No one needs to. This ritual predates spoken language. That night, the tribe shares stories around the central hearth, not with words, but with gestures, facial expressions, and a complex mix of sounds that isn't quite language, but communicates just fine. Your uncle mimics the great hunt from last spring when they brought down a woolly rhino. His hands become the spears, his body becomes the charging beast. You fall asleep surrounded by your tribe, the ancient stories washing over you. The next morning brings an unexpected visitor. A scout from another band arrives, his body painted with spiral patterns in black charcoal. News travels between Neanderthal groups through these messengers. Your total population across Europe is maybe 5,000 people. Every band knows of every other band within 500 miles. The visitor brings news of good hunting to the north and an invitation to join 3 other bands for the spring salmon run. He also brings warning: strange 2-legged creatures seen far to the south, taller, thinner, with smaller faces and higher foreheads. They move differently and make different tools. No one says it, but everyone knows what this means. These are the others, the ones some call sapiens. They've been slowly appearing at the edges of your world for generations. Stories say they're weak but clever, numerous but fragile. The visitor leaves after sharing a meal. The adults talk late into the night. You pretend to sleep but listen carefully. Some want to move north immediately. Others argue for staying until spring. Eventually, they decide to remain until the worst of winter passes. 2 days later, the cave bear attacks. You're gathering kindling with 3 other children when it happens. The bear, massive, 9 feet tall when standing, appears from behind a rock outcropping. Later, you'll learn it was starving, driven from its hibernation by hunger. But in the moment, all you see is death charging on 4 legs. The oldest child, a 12-year-old boy, pushes you all behind him. He raises his arms and makes himself look bigger, a technique your people have used against predators for millennia. He roars back at the bear, his small body somehow projecting enough threat to make the bear pause. That pause saves your lives. Adult hunters appear from the tree line, alerted by the boy's roar. They carry heavy thrusting spears tipped with flint points. They don't throw them. Neanderthal hunting spears are too heavy for distance throwing. Instead, they form a semicircle and advance together. The bear charges. One hunter is batted aside like a twig, his arm snapping audibly. Another drives his spear deep into the bear's shoulder. The bear roars in pain but keeps fighting. It takes 4 more spears before the creature finally collapses. That night, the tribe feasts on bear meat. The injured hunter's arm is set by an elder who has performed this procedure dozens of times. They use strips of leather as binding and wood splints to immobilize the break. Recovery rate for Neanderthal broken bones? About 80%, nearly as good as modern emergency rooms. The attack changes the tribe's plans. The cave is no longer safe if bears are desperate enough to hunt humans. The next morning, everything is packed, the entire camp dismantled in under an hour. Your people have perfected the art of mobility. You travel north for 7 days. The journey is brutal. 2 elders don't survive. An infant born just 3 months earlier develops a cough and dies in the night. Your band of 28 becomes 25. This mortality rate isn't unusual. It's life. Your new camp sits on a limestone bluff overlooking a river valley. From here, you can see for miles in every direction. No predator can approach unseen. The river below is still frozen, but come spring, it will teem with fish. Your people will be waiting. That night, as new hearths warm your temporary shelters made from branches and hides, your mother pulls you close. Tomorrow, she says, I teach you to fish. Fishing requires different skills than hunting land animals. It requires patience, precision, and understanding of underwater patterns. Your people have been fishing for at least 100,000 years. Some Neanderthal bands get 80% of their protein from seafood. Those southern cousins living near the Mediterranean can even dive for shellfish, holding their breath for up to 2 minutes. You fall asleep thinking about the river and the fish that will come with spring. You're still a child by modern standards, just 7 years old. But in Neanderthal terms, you're already on your way to adulthood. You've survived the death of your father. You've made your first kill. You've witnessed your tribe's resilience. Tomorrow brings new challenges, more skills to master, more tests to survive. Your people have thrived in Europe for 400,000 years through ice ages, predators, and starvation. They are not the brutish cavemen of cartoons. They are sophisticated survivors with culture, art, and technology perfectly adapted to their world. And now, you're one of them. The river teaches you patience first. You sit motionless for hours, spear poised above the dark water. Your mother doesn't correct your form or tell you when to strike. Either you learn or you go hungry. 3 days pass before your spear finds its first fish. Your arms shake from the effort, but pride burns hotter than any fire. That night, your small perch feeds only you. No sharing required. The first kill always belongs to the hunter alone. This isn't kindness. It's motivation. By spring, you can hit a fish 4 times out of 10. By summer, your success rate climbs to 6. Your body grows stronger. Your reflexes sharpen. Each season brings new skills: weaving reed baskets to trap fish, knapping flint to craft hooks, diving for shellfish in shallow pools. 8 seasons pass this way. You're 15 now, standing on that same riverbank, but everything's different. Your body has thickened with muscle. Your chest and shoulders have widened to the distinctive Neanderthal barrel shape that holds larger lungs and a bigger heart than any modern human will ever have. You're shorter than a sapient teenager would be, but you can snap their spine with one hand if needed. Probably won't be needed. Probably. 3 children watch you from the shore, ages 7 to 10, your apprentices. The tribe entrusted them to you because you've proven yourself. Last winter, you tracked and killed a lone wolf that had been stalking the camp. The wolf's teeth now hang around your neck, each one earned with risk. Watch, you tell them, wading into the rushing spring current. The water is still cold enough to kill if you stay in too long. Hypothermia takes just 20 minutes in these temperatures, but your Neanderthal body runs hotter than modern humans, about half a degree warmer. Your skin carries specialized fat cells similar to those found in Arctic mammals. Cold is still dangerous, but you can withstand it longer than those thin-limbed sapiens moving into territory south of here. You've never seen these others yourself, but reports come more frequently now. They travel in larger groups, 20, 30, sometimes 50 in a band. Your entire tribe numbers 22. The math isn't encouraging. Your spear strikes. A large salmon thrashes at the end of it. You lift it high so the children can see the proper technique, then wade back to shore. This isn't just a fishing lesson. This is survival school. The oldest boy needs to get this right by tomorrow. The youngest girl has 3 more seasons to master it. Now you say, handing your spear to the oldest. He takes it with solemn determination. His father died in the same winter that took your father 8 years ago. You've been watching over him since. That afternoon, as the children practice, you climb the limestone bluff to scan the valley. Your eyesight is exceptional, even by Neanderthal standards. You can spot movement 2 miles away. Modern humans will eventually learn your visual cortex is larger than theirs, an adaptation to Europe's forests and frequent darkness. What you see today stops your breath. Smoke, 3 distinct columns rising from the forest to the south, too controlled to be natural fire, too large to be a single family. Others, you race back down to gather the children. As you approach camp, you hear rhythmic pounding. The elders are preparing ochre red-orange earth pigment mixed with animal fat. Tonight is the spring ceremony, marking your transition to full hunter status. The timing couldn't be worse. The tribe's leader, a scarred woman of 40 winters who survived a mammoth goring in her youth, listens to your report without expression. When you finish, she simply nods. The ceremony continues, she says. We've known they were coming for years. That night, firelight dances across painted bodies. Everyone wears ochre designs, handprints across chests, lines following the contours of muscles, dots trailing down arms. The patterns aren't random. They tell your life story. The dots on your right arm represent successful hunts. The zigzag across your chest marks surviving the bear attack. The handprint over your heart honors your father. These designs aren't primitive doodles. They're your history, your identity, your place in the tribe. Archaeologists will later find ochre processing tools dating back 250,000 years. They'll debate whether Neanderthals used body paint symbolically. They should have just asked. The ritual begins with the oldest hunter coating your face with a mixture of ochre and bear fat. He traces a line from your forehead to the tip of your nose, then across both cheeks. The designs are still visible on Neanderthal skulls, discovered 40,000 years after death. The ochre literally stained the bone. You kneel before the tribe's leader. She holds the ceremonial spear longer and heavier than regular hunting spears, hafted with a special technique that involves heating birch pitch adhesive to the perfect temperature. Too cold, it won't bind. Too hot, it becomes brittle. This knowledge took generations to perfect. Hunt well, she says, placing it in your hands. Hunt for all of us. The celebration continues deep into the night. The tribe shares food from their winter stores: dried fish, preserved berries, rendered fat. An elder plays music on a flute carved from a juvenile cave bear femur. The notes echo against the valley walls. 4 holes drilled at precise intervals produce a pentatonic scale, another blow to the primitive caveman myth. Morning brings preparation. The leader assigns you 5 hunters, your first command. Your target is ambitious, a small herd of horse spotted near the eastern meadows. Horse meat is dense with nutrients, their hide perfect for summer clothes, their bones ideal for tools. One successful hunt could feed the tribe for weeks. As you prepare your weapons, the elder who taught you flint knapping brings a special gift, a spear point unlike any you've seen. Larger, leaf-shaped, impossibly thin, yet strong. He demonstrates the hafting technique, showing how the birch pitch must be applied, how the sinew binding reinforces the connection. New design, he says simply. Innovation didn't die with your ancestors. Your hunting party leaves at dawn. 6 hours later, you're crouched in tall grass downwind of the horse herd. 12 animals graze peacefully, unaware of what's coming. You signal the plan to your hunters, circle around, drive them toward the hidden ravine, take the youngest mare. The ambush works perfectly until it doesn't. As you close in, a stallion catches your scent and alerts the herd. They bolt, but in the wrong direction, away from your planned trap. Split-second decision: abandon the hunt or adapt. You sprint forward, closing distance. Neanderthal physiology built for power, not marathon running, but short bursts. You're faster than any Olympic sprinter. Your specialized muscle fibers contract with explosive force. 20 meters, 10, 5. Your new spear flies. The leaf-shaped point penetrates the young mare's hide between ribs, puncturing lung. She stumbles but keeps running. You've wounded her, but it's not enough. Now comes the dangerous part. Your hunting party tracks the blood trail for 2 hours. The mare weakens, slows, finally collapses in a small clearing. But she's still alive, still dangerous. A horse kick can cave in your skull. You approach cautiously, spear ready. Her eyes roll in fear. Her breathing comes in ragged gasps. You make the killing strike quick, precise, directly into her heart. Death should never be prolonged, not for any creature. Neanderthals aren't cruel. Efficiency is your religion. The butchering begins immediately. Nothing wasted, meat cut away in precise patterns, organs carefully removed, the brain rich in essential fats extracted with specialized tools. Even the stomach contents preserved. Partially digested grass provides rare nutrients. The blood collected in skin pouches, iron, salt, protein, all in one package. It takes all 6 of you to transport the bounty back to camp. You arrive at sunset, triumphant. The tribe rushes to help, everyone with assigned tasks. Within hours, meat strips hang drying over smoke fires. Hides soak in urine to loosen hair for scraping. Bones crack for marrow extraction. That night you sleep deeply, the satisfaction of providing mixing with exhaustion. Dawn wakes you to screaming. You grab your spear and burst from your shelter. Across the camp, 3 hunters drag someone between them. A child, not one of yours. This child looks wrong. Limbs too long, forehead too vertical, chin too pronounced. A sapien child, 10 years old maybe, male, unconscious but alive. The tribe gathers, wary. No one has seen one of the others this close before. The leader examines the boy without touching him. The hunters explain. They found him alone near the river, collapsed from what appears to be hunger. Kill it, says one elder. They bring sickness. Study it, says another. Learn their weaknesses. The leader watches the child, her expression unreadable. Finally, she turns to you. Your first command decision, she says. What happens to this one? Every eye turns to you. This isn't just about one child. It's about how your tribe will respond to the changing world. Violence or cooperation, fear or curiosity. You kneel beside the boy. His breathing is shallow, skin hot with fever, probably pneumonia from spring's cold rains. Without treatment, he'll die within days. With treatment, your people's knowledge of medicinal plants, he might survive. We heal him, you decide, then return him. Murmurs ripple through the tribe, agreement from some, concern from others. The leader nods once, approving your choice. The tribe's healer already gathers herbs, yarrow for fever, willow bark for pain. For 3 days, the sapien boy hovers between worlds. Your people take turns monitoring him, fascinated by his different features. His fingers so long and delicate compared to yours. His ribcage narrow and flat, unlike your barrel chest. His forehead high and smooth, without your pronounced brow ridge. On the 4th day, his fever breaks. His eyes open wide with terror when he sees you. He scrambles backward until he hits the cave wall. He speaks, but his language means nothing to you. Different structure, different sounds. You try to communicate with gestures. Food, safety, no harm. Gradually, his fear subsides. Curiosity replaces it. He watches your people intently, studying your movements, your tools, your interactions. He's learning, adapting, just as you would. By the seventh day, he can stand. You've learned his name through pointing and repetition, something like on. He's learned to say yours too, though his pronunciation lacks the deeper chest resonance of Neanderthal speech. You decide it's time. You select 2 hunters to accompany you and prepare the boy for travel. He seems to understand you're taking him somewhere. As you leave camp, he walks close to you, occasionally touching your arm, as if for reassurance. The smoke columns have moved closer. You follow them cautiously, alert for traps or sentries. The forest feels different with sapiens in it. You've absorbed the stories they use, ranged weapons that can kill from twice your throwing distance. They travel in larger groups. They take more territory. After several hours, you detect their camp. The smell hits first, similar to yours, but with subtle differences. Their fires burn differently. Their voices carry through the trees, higher pitched than Neanderthal speech, more varied in tone. You stop well, outside their perimeter. No need to approach closer. You've seen what you needed to see. At least 30 individuals, shelters arranged differently than yours. Strange objects hanging from trees, traps, signals, warnings. You kneel before the boy, place both hands on his shoulders, and gently turn him toward his people. He hesitates, looking back at you with an expression you can't quite read. Then he runs, calling out in his language. Your hunters melt into the forest immediately. You linger just long enough to see the boy reach his people. Adults rush to him, embracing him. Then many eyes turn toward the forest, toward you. You've been spotted. Time to go. But as you turn, something whistles past your ear. A slender projectile embeds in the tree beside you. Not a spear, something smaller, lighter. A new weapon. First contact. First hostility. You race back through the forest, your hunters flanking you. No pursuit follows, but the message is clear. Boundaries, territory, warning. That night, you report everything to the tribe. The leader listens, then makes her decision. We move north with the next full moon. As you settle into your sleeping furs, strange thoughts keep you awake. The sapien boy's eyes, the unfamiliar weapons, the way their camp looked both alien and familiar. They aren't so different. They aren't so similar. They're something else entirely. And they're not leaving. The world is changing. Your people have survived on this land for 400,000 years, through ice ages and predators and starvation. But this feels different. This feels final. You close your eyes, hand resting on your spear. Tomorrow you'll train harder, hunt smarter, prepare better. The future of your people depends on what happens next. Sleep finally comes with one last thought. Those others, those sapiens with their strange ways, they're watching the same stars tonight, wondering about you, just as you wonder about them. 6 summers pass, 6 winters, 6 cycles of migration following game and seasons. The world changes with each cycle, and so do you. You're 21 now. The scar across your chest tells the story of the time a wounded stag nearly gutted you. The calluses on your hands speak of countless spears crafted, hides tanned, fires built. Your eyes hold memories no modern human could comprehend. Your band has shrunk to 17. The leader, that scarred woman who survived the mammoth, died 2 winters ago when pneumonia filled her lungs with fluid. 4 others were lost to hunger during the worst winter anyone can remember, when snow covered the ground for 6 straight moons. You ate boiled leather and tree bark to survive. The tribe chose you as the new leader, not because you're the strongest, though you are, not because you're the smartest, though your memory for plant medicine rivals the elders. They chose you because you understand the others. Since that first encounter with the sapien boy, you've observed their bands from hidden vantage points. You've studied their movements, their tools, their habits. When other Neanderthals wanted to attack, you counseled patience. When some wanted to flee farther north, you suggested learning instead. Now your band camps near a river valley 30 miles north of your childhood home. The morning sun warms your face as you kneel beside the tribe's oldest member, a woman of 55 winters, ancient by any standard. Her hands, twisted with joint pain, still work nimbly as she sorts healing herbs. I won't see another winter, she says matter-of-factly. No self-pity in her voice, just acknowledgement of reality. You've survived many already, you reply. She smiles, revealing worn teeth. Dental analysis will later show Neanderthals used their teeth as tools, causing distinctive wear patterns. Some archaeologists will find toothpick grooves, proving your people cleaned between their teeth. So much for the crude caveman myth. Before I join the ancestors, she says, you must learn the deep medicine. Over the next 7 days, she teaches you knowledge accumulated over thousands of generations, which fungi fight infection, which mosses stop bleeding, how to set bones with such precision that they heal straight and strong, the correct dosage of willow bark for pain without stomach sickness. On the 8th day, she shows you something she's kept hidden, a small shell containing a green-blue mold. For the deepest wounds, she whispers, when death seems certain. It's penicillium, the same mold modern medicine will discover as an antibiotic in 1928. Your people have been using it for at least 50,000 years. The evidence will be found in Neanderthal dental plaque, but most scientists won't believe it until 2017. 2 days later, she doesn't wake up. Your people bury her that afternoon, body adorned with red ochre, surrounded by the tools of her healing craft. You place eagle feathers around her head, not for decoration, but because she once said eagles carry souls to the stars. That night, alone on the bluff overlooking your camp, grief hits you with physical force, not just for this elder, but for everything changing around you. The others now occupy lands to the south, east, and west. Only the north remains purely Neanderthal territory, and even that shrinks with each season. You close your eyes, breathe deeply. The night air carries scents your broad nasal cavity processes with extraordinary sensitivity, pine resin, distant smoke, the musk of a fox passing nearby. When you open your eyes, the stars overwhelm you with their clarity. Something shifts inside your mind. The boundaries between you and the world seem to dissolve. Colors intensify, sounds sharpen. Is this what dying feels like, or something else entirely? You find yourself moving, though you don't remember deciding to. Your feet carry you to a small cave discovered last moon, but not yet explored fully. Inside, guided only by starlight filtering through the entrance, you follow a narrow passage that opens into a chamber. You light the small torch you carried. The flame reveals a space untouched by human hands. Stalactites hang like stone teeth from the ceiling. Water drips create a rhythm like heartbeats. Without conscious thought, you reach for the pouch at your waist. Inside, ochre pigments mixed with animal fat. Your fingers dip into the red paste. Your hand moves to the smooth limestone wall. What happens next will confuse archaeologists for centuries. Is it art, communication, religious expression? All they'll know is that deep in caves across Europe, Neanderthals left handprints, dots, lines, and abstract symbols, some dating to 65,000 years ago, 20,000 years before Homo sapiens arrived. You work through the night, handprints pressed against stone, a ladder-like structure with dots surrounding it, 2 animal shapes that might be horses or deer, abstract swirls that mean everything and nothing. Dawn finds you exhausted but transformed. You've connected to something beyond words. When future humans find these markings, they'll debate whether Neanderthals were capable of symbolic thinking. They should have just asked. You return to camp changed. The tribe senses it immediately. They keep distance, respectful of your experience. Only one approaches a young woman named in gestures that translate roughly to Swift River. She's been your hunting partner for 2 summers, something more for one. The others are coming, she says without preamble. A large band, with children. You gather 5 hunters and move silently through the forest. Within an hour, you locate them, a group of sapiens, about 25 strong. But something's different. They're not moving with purpose. They're staggering, supporting each other. Several collapse as you watch. Sickness, whispers Swift River. The wasting fever. You recognize the symptoms: extreme fatigue, visible weight loss, bloody coughing. Your people encountered this illness 3 generations ago. It swept through 5 bands, killing half before burning itself out. We go, says one hunter, backing away. Now, But you hesitate. Among the 6 sapiens, a pregnant woman sits with her head in her hands. Even from this distance, you can see she's near term, about to bring new life into a group ravaged by death. You make your decision. That evening, you approach their camp alone, carrying a bundle of healing herbs. They spot you immediately. Spears rise, bows draw. You stop, place your bundle on the ground, then retreat several paces. A tall sapien male approaches cautiously. He examines the herbs, recognition dawning on his face. He looks up, meeting your eyes across the clearing, and slowly nods. Over the next 10 days, your band keeps distance but continues leaving medicine at the boundary between camps. The sapien death rate slows. The pregnant woman survives. On the 11th day, she gives birth. The sapien's cries alert you. Swift River insists on going with you to the boundary. You bring more herbs, these specifically for postpartum bleeding. This time, the tall male invites you closer with gestures. Wary but curious, you approach their camp. The smell hits you first, different from Neanderthal settlements. Their fire construction uses more green wood. Their bodies carry different bacteria. Their food preparation techniques release different aromas. The male leads you to a small shelter where the woman lies with her newborn. She watches you with exhausted but alert eyes. She pulls back the hide covering to reveal the infant. Your breath catches. The baby has the high forehead and pronounced chin of sapiens, but its nose bridge is higher than typical sapiens infants. Its chest already shows signs of the barrel shape characteristic of your people, a hybrid child, half Neanderthal, half sapien. The implications stagger you. Not only have the species met, but they've mated, created new life together. This changes everything you thought you knew about the boundaries between your peoples. The mother gestures for you to come closer. Hesitantly, you kneel beside her. She takes your hand, her fingers so much longer and more delicate than yours, and places it gently on the baby's chest. You feel its heart beating, strong and steady. In this moment, you understand. This child belongs to both worlds and neither. It will face challenges unknown to either pure Neanderthal or pure sapien, but it represents possibility, a future neither of your peoples could imagine alone. You return to your band with this new knowledge burning in your mind. That night, gathered around the fire, you share what you've seen. Reactions split between wonder and horror. Some see abomination, others see adaptation. The world changes, you tell them. We must change with it or vanish. The seasons turn. Your band develops an uneasy coexistence with the sapien group. Not friendship exactly, not alliance, but recognition, respect for boundaries, occasional trading of materials, their finely carved bone needles for your superior fire-starting tools. You learn fragments of their language. They learn elements of your communication system, enough to coordinate hunts in shared territory, each group using their strengths, their ranged weapons for the initial attack, your powerful thrust spears for the kill. The hybrid child grows stronger. Others appear in both camps, some Neanderthal women with sapien partners, some sapien women with Neanderthal mates. The boundaries blur with each new birth. But winters grow harsher, game grows scarcer. Competition for resources intensifies as more sapien bands migrate into the region. Your people have always survived by adaptation, but the pace of change accelerates beyond anything in Neanderthal experience. During the 4th winter of this uneasy coexistence, disaster strikes. A massive storm blankets the region in snow deeper than any living memory. For 15 days, no one can leave their shelters. Food stores dwindle to nothing. When the storm finally breaks, your band faces starvation. You organize a desperate hunt despite dangerous conditions. The snow, chest-deep in places, saps your strength. Your powerful Neanderthal physiology burns calories at an alarming rate, an advantage in normal times. A liability now. 6 hours into the hunt, you spot tracks. Reindeer, moving slowly through the deep snow. Easy prey in these conditions. You signal your hunters to form the ambush pattern. The first spear flies true, striking a young buck. It bolts but can't move quickly in the deep snow. You charge forward for the killing thrust. Your foot breaks through a hidden pocket beneath the snow. You pitch forward as pain explodes through your leg. The sound of breaking bone echoes across the white landscape. Your femur, the strongest bone in the human body, has snapped completely. The jagged end tears through muscle and skin, blood staining the snow crimson. In the modern world, this injury means surgery, metal pins, months of rehabilitation. In your world, it often means death. Even if infection doesn't kill you, a poorly healed leg means you can't hunt, can't contribute, can't survive. Your hunters carry you back to camp. Swift River oversees the setting of the bone, using techniques passed down for countless generations. The leg is straightened, splinted with wood, bound with leather straps. Pain beyond imagination rolls through you in waves. For 6 weeks, you lie in your shelter, dependent on others for everything. The band shares what little food they have, though starvation shadows everyone. You watch their faces grow gaunt, watch children's ribs become more prominent with each passing day. From your sickbed, you witness something unexpected. Sapiens from the neighboring band bring meat. Not much, they too struggle, but enough to keep your weakest members alive. The hybrid children move between camps as if they belong to both. In some ways, they do. As your leg slowly knits back together, you face a truth you've been avoiding. Your band cannot survive another winter like this alone. The game continues to thin. The climate continues to shift. The old ways that sustained Neanderthals for 400,000 years no longer work. When you can finally walk again with a pronounced limp that will never fully heal, you call the band together. 13 members now, 4 lost to the brutal winter. We have a choice, you tell them. Continue alone and face extinction, or join with the others and find a new way forward. The debate lasts through the night. By dawn, the band has split. 7, including Swift River, will follow you toward an uncertain future with the sapiens. 6 will journey north, seeking the old ways, the pure Neanderthal existence. You embrace those leaving, knowing you'll never see them again. Their choice is valid, honorable, but in your heart, you know they journey toward extinction. Your smaller group approaches the sapien camp carrying gifts, finely crafted spear points, medicines, knowledge of local plant cycles. They welcome you with caution, but without hostility. The hybrid children act as bridges, translating, mediating, connecting. That night, sitting beside a fire that burns differently than the ones you grew up with, you watch Swift River talking with a sapien woman. They communicate through a mixture of gestures and shared words, laughing occasionally at misunderstandings. You realize you're witnessing the end of one world and the birth of another. Your people, pure Neanderthals, will disappear within a few thousand years, but your genes, your knowledge, parts of your culture will survive in these hybrid children and their descendants. It's not the future you expected, not the future your ancestors prepared you for, but it's survival of a kind. Swift River catches your eye across the fire and smiles. Her hand rests protectively over her belly, where new life grows. Another hybrid child, another bridge between worlds. You place your hand on your chest, over your heart, in the gesture that has meant family to your people for thousands of generations. She returns it without hesitation. Tomorrow brings a new hunt, new challenges, new adaptations. The world changes, and so must you. 8 more seasons pass. The mixed camp moves 4 times, following game and avoiding the worst weather. With each migration, more sapiens join, more hybrids are born, fewer pure Neanderthals remain. You're 29 now. Your dark beard shows the first strands of gray. The old leg injury gives you a permanent limp, but you've adapted. You've always adapted. Swift River gave birth to a daughter with your broad chest and barrel ribs, but with longer limbs and a less pronounced brow. 2 more children followed, both showing the mixed heritage that will eventually be found in nearly every human genome outside of sub-Saharan Africa. Of your original 13 who joined the Sapiens, only 7 pure Neanderthals remain. No word ever came from those who journeyed north. You sometimes scan the horizon, hoping to spot a familiar silhouette. None ever appears. This morning, you sit outside your shelter, supervising 10 children, some pure sapien, some hybrid, none pure Neanderthal. You're teaching them to make cordage from plant fibers. Your thick, powerful fingers twist the strands with practiced precision. The children struggle to mimic your technique, especially the pure sapiens with their longer, thinner digits. Like this, you demonstrate again, slowing the movement. Twist away from you, then cross over. A young hybrid boy, about 7 winters, gets it first. His hands combine Neanderthal strength with sapien dexterity. He grins up at you, holding his perfectly twisted cord. Good, you tell him. Now show the others. This is your role now, teacher, knowledge keeper. While younger hunters from both species provide meat, you preserve skills that neither population fully possesses alone. The sapiens value your deep understanding of plants, weather patterns, animal behavior. You've learned their more complex speech, though your vocal anatomy means some sounds remain impossible. Later that day, a hunting party returns with grim news. A new band of sapiens has moved into the eastern valley. They show no interest in cooperation. 2 hunters who approached them were driven away with a barrage of spears and stone projectiles. That night, the camp leaders gather around the main fire, 3 sapien elders, you and Swift River, representing the Neanderthals. A serious debate begins about whether to send emissaries again or move to avoid conflict. We should go north, says one sapien elder, a woman whose face bears elaborate scarifications. Find new hunting grounds. North grows colder each year, you counter. The big ice returns. You're right. Though no one can see it, the great glaciers are slowly advancing south again. Europe teeters on the edge of another deep freeze. Moving north means certain starvation. Then we fight for this territory, says a young sapien male, touching the stone-tipped spear at his side. Swift River shakes her head. We are too few. The truth hangs heavy in the air. Your mixed band numbers about 40. The newcomers appear to be twice that. Direct conflict would be disastrous. The debate continues until the sapien woman with facial scars speaks again. We will send gifts, food, medicine, tools. If they reject peace, then we decide again. Her wisdom reminds you of your old leader, the woman who survived the mammoth goring. You nod agreement. The others follow. Before dawn the next morning, you join the gift-bearing party. Your knowledge of healing herbs is specifically requested. The newcomers have been seen coughing perhaps the same wasting sickness that first brought your peoples together. As you approach their camp, you spot differences from your own mixed settlement. Their shelters form a tighter circle. Sentries patrol the perimeter. Everything about their arrangement speaks of people accustomed to conflict. They spot you immediately. Warriors move forward, weapons ready. Your small group stops, places the gifts on the ground, and waits. A tall sapien with elaborate shell ornaments hanging from his clothing approaches cautiously. He examines the offerings, focusing longest on the medicine bundles. He looks up, studying your group, particularly you and the other Neanderthal representative. His expression reveals disgust poorly concealed. He barks something in a dialect you don't understand, then kicks the gifts aside. The message is clear. Return to camp with heavy hearts. That night, the decision is made. You must migrate again, but not north. West, toward the great water, where food might be more plentiful. Preparation begins immediately. Hides are gathered for new shelters. Food stores are packed. Tools are repaired or crafted anew. You oversee the creation of carrying packs for the children and elderly. The design combines Neanderthal durability with sapien adjustability, leather straps that distribute weight across the shoulders and chest. 3 days before departure, catastrophe strikes. A child returns from the river screaming. Blood streams from a gash on his arm. Hunters rush to investigate and return with grim news. 3 members of your band ambushed while fishing. 2 killed, their bodies mutilated. The attackers left clear tracks. The newcomers have struck first. Fury sweeps through the camp. Young warriors from both species grab weapons, demanding revenge. The sapien elders barely restrain them. You watch the chaos, a cold certainty forming in your gut. This conflict was inevitable, not because either side wanted it, but because resources grow scarcer each season. The great ice advances, game thins, territory that once supported multiple bands now barely feeds one. That night, as the camp finally settles into uneasy sleep, Swift River joins you on the sentry platform overlooking the valley. "I've seen this before," you tell her quietly. "In the old stories, every Neanderthal band carried oral histories stretching back hundreds of generations. Tales of times when food vanished, when the ice came, when strange illnesses swept through the camps. The stories always ended the same way, adaptation or extinction." "What did the stories say to do?" she asks. You have no answer. The stories never told what happened after. They simply ended. Dawn brings new horror. Smoke rises from the direction of the newcomers' camp. Your scouts return with unexpected news: the hostile band is gone. Their shelters burned. No bodies, but signs of violence everywhere. Something worse than rival sapiens has arrived. The answer comes that afternoon when a lone survivor staggers into your camp. A woman from the newcomers' band, badly wounded, babbling in her dialect. The sapien elders translate her story in fragments. Attackers came in the night, not sapiens, not Neanderthals. Something else. Taller, fiercer, with weapons no one has seen before. They killed most, took some captive, burned everything else. The newcomer dies before sunset, a strange infection blackening the wounds on her arms. Nothing in your healing knowledge can save her. The camp erupts in panicked preparation. The migration west must happen immediately. Every moment of delay risks annihilation from these unknown predators. You work through the night, helping the most vulnerable prepare. The hybrid children cling to you, sensing the adults' fear. You tell them stories of Neanderthal resilience to calm them, how your people survived the great ice, the cave lions, the endless winters. As dawn approaches, Swift River pulls you aside. Her face carries an expression you've never seen before: pure terror. "The sickness comes," she whispers, showing you her arm. Black lines spread from a small cut near her wrist, the same infection that killed the newcomer woman. Your world stops. Swift River, your hunting partner, your mate, mother of your children, has hours, maybe a day, left. The infection moves too quickly for any medicine you know. She sees the truth in your eyes. "Go," she says. "Take the children. I'll follow the old way." The old way. When Neanderthals knew death approached, they would sometimes walk away from the band to die alone. No burden on the tribe, no risk of spreading sickness. A final gift to the living. You grasp her hand, press your forehead to hers. No words exist in either language for this moment. By midday, the band moves west. You carry your youngest child, the other two walking beside you. Swift River is not the only one missing. 4 others showed signs of the mysterious infection. All chose the old way rather than risk the band. The journey west becomes a nightmare of vigilance. Each ridge might hide the unknown attackers. Each stream might carry the deadly infection. Your band, now 33 survivors, moves as silently as possible, avoiding open ground, traveling mainly at night. After 12 days, you reach the great water, the Atlantic Ocean. Its vastness stuns even you, who has seen so much in your 3 decades. Salt spray carries on the wind, gulls wheel overhead, the constant crash of waves masks small sounds, making everyone jumpy. You establish camp in a sheltered cove. Cliffs protect your back. The ocean provides food: fish, shellfish, seaweed rich in minerals. Gradually, the terror of flight subsides, replaced by the daily work of survival. Weeks pass, no sign of pursuers. The infection that took Swift River doesn't appear in anyone else. Life establishes new rhythms. Your role in the band evolves again. Now you're not just teacher, but rememberer. The last pure Neanderthals gather regularly in your shelter to recall the old stories, the old ways. You create memory objects, collections of shells, unusual stones, animal teeth arranged in patterns that encode information. Future archaeologists will find such collections and debate their meaning. They'll never guess these were your libraries, your history books. The hybrid children participate in these memory sessions too. They soak up Neanderthal knowledge like dry earth absorbs rain. Their unique brains, part Neanderthal, part sapien, process information differently than either parent species. They make connections you wouldn't. They ask questions the sapiens wouldn't think of. During one bitter winter night, when howling winds force everyone to shelter in the large communal space, you witness something remarkable. A young hybrid girl, about 10 winters, creates a new form of communication. She combines Neanderthal gesture language with sapien vocal sounds to explain a complex hunting technique to children from both species. Everyone understands perfectly. You realize you're watching evolution happen before your eyes. These hybrid children aren't just surviving, they're thriving. Their mixed heritage gives them advantages neither parent species possesses alone. Neanderthal, cold resistance with sapien social networking. Neanderthal, strength with sapien innovation. The best of both, minimizing the weaknesses of either. Years pass. You reach 40 winters, ancient by the standards of your time. Your beard now fully gray, your limp more pronounced. Of the original Neanderthals who joined with sapiens, only you and 2 others remain. No pure Neanderthal children have been born in the band for 8 winters. The youngest is now 12, a boy named through gestures that approximate Stonefinder for his uncanny ability to locate the perfect materials for tools. One crisp autumn morning, you sit atop the cliffs overlooking the ocean. Your oldest daughter, now a woman with children of her own, joins you. Though hybrid, she carries more Neanderthal features than most. Your eyes scan the horizon with the same sharp vision you've always possessed. The last ones, she says quietly, not looking at you. You know what she means. 3 days ago, news came from a trading party. They encountered another band who spoke of the final pure Neanderthals to the north. Less than 20 individuals struggling against starvation as the ice advances, refusing to mix with sapiens, clinging to the old ways. They've chosen their path, you reply. As you chose yours, she says, finally meeting your gaze. To ensure we survived, even if changed. You nod, a lump forming in your throat. For the first time, you allow yourself to fully feel what you've known for years. Your people, pure Neanderthals, will not exist within another generation. 400,000 years of separate evolution ending in your lifetime. Yet, not ending completely. You watch hybrid children playing on the beach below. Their laughter carries on the wind. Their bodies move with Neanderthal power tempered by sapien grace. Their minds hold knowledge from both ancestral lines. We live in them, you say simply. Your daughter takes your hand. Her grip contains your strength, but her fingers show the longer sapien pattern. Yes, she agrees, and they will remember. That night, you dream of the ancient caves, of handprints pressed against stone, of ochre symbols telling stories no one might ever decode. You dream of ice advancing from the north, of forests retreating, of great beasts disappearing one by one. You dream of Swift River walking away to die alone, her final gift to the band. You wake knowing what you must do. There's one more lesson to teach. The seasons change. Your body doesn't heal like it once did. Each winter bites deeper into your bones. Each summer brings less strength back to your muscles. This is what aging means when you're the last of your kind. You're 41 now, ancient by Ice Age standards. The 2 other pure Neanderthals in your band died last winter, one from pneumonia, her barrel chest finally failing her after 50 harsh years. The other simply went to sleep one night and didn't wake up. His body showed no wounds, no signs of illness. Perhaps his heart simply decided enough was enough. That leaves you, the last pure Neanderthal in a band of 37. The others are either full sapiens or hybrids of varying degrees. Your 3 children have children of their own now. Your grandchildren carry your brow ridge, your stocky build, but their limbs grow longer with each generation. Their foreheads rise higher, their chins become more pronounced. You don't begrudge these changes. Evolution has never been sentimental. The morning sun finds you sitting outside your shelter, a collection of objects spread before you on a deerskin. Unusual stones, shells with natural holes, animal teeth carefully arranged in patterns, eagle feathers, bits of amber, small clay figures hardened in fire. This is your life's final work, a memory system encoding everything a Neanderthal should know. Which plants heal, which kill, how to read weather from cloud patterns, how to track 30 different animals, how to make fire in the rain, how to set a broken bone, the locations of safe caves for winter shelter, the migration patterns of reindeer herds. 400,000 years of Neanderthal knowledge distilled into objects that can be carried, rearranged, taught. You've spent 3 years creating this system, teaching the children how each piece connects to specific knowledge. Modern archaeologists will find similar collections and label them trinkets or ritualistic objects. They'll never guess they're looking at libraries. Your oldest daughter's son, your first grandchild, sits across from you, carefully memorizing the patterns. At 12 winters, he shows the most interest in the old ways. His features are more sapien than Neanderthal, but something in his eyes reminds you of your father, dead 40 years now. The same intensity, the same curiosity. Again, you tell him, mixing the pieces. He rebuilds the pattern from memory shell, amber, black stone, tooth. Each combination unlocks specific knowledge. This one tells which mushrooms nourish and which bring visions, which kill and which heal. Good, you say when he finishes correctly. Now the forest paths. He builds a new pattern while you watch, the morning light catching on the objects. You feel a strange peace. Your people will vanish, but their knowledge will survive. Not in books or writing, those are still millennia away, but in these memory systems passed down through hybrid generations. That afternoon, the hunting party returns with surprising news. Another band approaches from the east, not hostile, carrying trade goods. They arrive before sunset, 22 individuals setting up camp nearby. You watch them from a distance. Something about their appearance tugs at your memory. Their features, their movements, they're mostly sapien, but several show distinctive Neanderthal traits. Then it hits you, these might be descendants of the band that journeyed north when your people first joined with sapiens, the ones who chose the old ways. That night, around shared fires, your suspicion confirms. Their eldest member, a woman of perhaps 35 winters, tells of her grandmother's stories of a band that refused to mix with sapiens, that journeyed north, seeking isolation. They found it for several generations, but the advancing ice eventually forced them south again. By then, necessity overcame pride. They joined with sapiens bands they encountered. The last pure ones died 3 winters ago, she says. The cold took them. Something shifts inside you with her words. A weight you didn't know you carried lifts away. You are truly the last, not just in your band, but perhaps anywhere in this part of the world. Dawn finds you atop the cliffs again, watching the ocean crash against stone far below. The tide pulls out, revealing tide pools teeming with life. Adaptation happens everywhere, constantly. Species blend, change, evolve, or disappear. Nothing remains fixed forever. You make your decision. It's time for the final lesson. That evening, you gather the children, not just yours, but all the band's children old enough to understand. 23 young faces watch you expectantly as you build a larger fire than usual. The adults sense something important happening and gather behind the children. You begin with a gesture language as old as your species' hands, sweeping to mimic the ice advancing from the north, fingers walking to show people migrating. You add sounds, words from both languages. You tell the story of your people from the beginning. 400,000 years ago, the first ones, who might be called Neanderthal, emerged in Europe. Their bodies adapted to cold, to darkness, to harsh conditions no other human species had mastered. Their brains grew larger than any hominid before them. Their technology, stone tools, wooden spears, controlled fire, allowed them to thrive where others perished. For thousands of generations, they hunted the great beasts: mammoth, woolly rhino, giant deer. They buried their dead with flowers and ochre. They created art deep in sacred caves. They healed injuries that would have killed other species. They made music with bone flutes. They survived ice ages that froze the world. Then came the others, the sapiens, thinner, taller, with different skills and different ways. At first, the two peoples avoided each other. Then they fought. Then gradually, they recognized something of themselves in each other. You tell of the first matings, the first hybrid children, the slow blending of two peoples who had evolved separately for 500,000 years. You explain how the children of both carry advantages neither parent possessed alone. In you, you tell them, looking at each face in turn, both peoples survive, neither as they were, but as something new, something stronger. You reveal scientific knowledge no one will rediscover for 50,000 years, that roughly 2 to 4% of modern human DNA comes from Neanderthals. That genes for immunity, skin color, hair texture, and fat metabolism pass from your people to theirs. That outside of sub-Saharan Africa, every human on the planet will carry Neanderthal DNA. The children listen, rapt. The adults stand silently behind them. Even those who've heard parts of this story before seem to understand its importance tonight. When you finish speaking, you add a final ritual no one has seen before. You mix red ochre with animal fat, the same pigments your ancestors used for 250,000 years before you. You press your hand against a flat stone, leaving a perfect handprint. Then you invite each child to do the same on stones of their own. When you look at your hand, you tell them, remember mine. The stones will disappear in time. The specific memory will fade, but something of this moment will echo through generations. Tens of thousands of years later, human children will still press their palms against surfaces to make handprints, never knowing they're repeating one of the oldest human rituals. That night, you sleep deeply, at peace with what must come next. When spring arrives, you make your preparations quietly, food for a long journey, your most essential tools, medicine bundles, the memory objects carefully wrapped in hide. Your children watch with growing understanding in their eyes. They've seen this before, the old way, the final journey. Not yet. Your oldest daughter protests when she realizes you're still strong. You shake your head. Strong is relative. Your eyes don't spot game like they once did. Your hands tremble when crafting fine tools. Each winter takes more from you than the last returns in spring. You've survived to see 45 winters, a remarkable achievement in your time. My knowledge lives in you now, you tell her, in your children, in the objects. She cannot argue. She was raised Neanderthal enough to understand, sapient enough to accept. The band needs every resource for those who can contribute most. The old way honors this truth. On the morning of your departure, the entire band gathers. There are no elaborate goodbyes. Neither Neanderthal nor early sapient culture includes them. Instead, they bring small tokens: an unusually shaped stone, a carved piece of antler, a perfect eagle feather, objects of memory and meaning. Your 3 children and their children walk the first day's journey with you. You travel inland, away from the coast, toward the hills where limestone caves honeycomb the landscape. Caves like those where your ancestors sheltered for thousands of generations. At a river crossing, you stop. This is where you'll part. The moment stretches between you, full of everything that cannot be said in either language. Your oldest grandson, the one who learned the memory patterns, best steps forward. He places his hand against yours, palm to palm. His fingers extend beyond yours, longer and more slender, but the shape is similar enough. No words, just connection. Then they turn back toward the coastal camp, and you continue alone into the hills. Your pace is unhurried. You have no destination exactly, just a feeling that you'll know the right place when you find it. 3 days later, you discover a small cave entrance, half hidden behind a stand of juniper. Something about its placement, the way the light strikes the opening at sunset, calls to you. Inside, the passage narrows, then opens into a chamber large enough to stand in. The air feels still, but not stagnant. No animal has denned here recently. This place will do. You unpack your belongings methodically, arrange your tools and memory objects in precise patterns, gather wood for a small fire. The flickering light reveals walls smooth enough for what you plan next. The ochre mixture comes together, as it has for countless generations before you, red earth. Animal fat, a binding agent made from pine resin. You dip your fingers into the paste and approach the wall. What you create isn't sophisticated art as modern humans would define it. No realistic animal forms like those at Lascaux or Altamira. Those will come later from sapient hands. Your symbols are older, more primal. Handprints, dots, lines, geometric patterns that encode information only a Neanderthal would fully understand. You work through the night, your hands moving almost independently of conscious thought. The symbols tell your life story, child of the river valleys, hunter of the great beasts, witness to the coming of others, bridge between peoples, last of your kind. When dawn breaks, light filtering through cracks in the ceiling, you sit back to observe your creation. It will remain here, untouched, for 45,000 years before humans rediscover it. They'll debate its meaning, its creators, never guessing the full story behind these enigmatic marks. The following days establish a simple routine. You venture out for food and water. You tend a small fire. You add to the wall markings. You sleep when tired, eat when hungry. Time loses meaning beyond the cycle of sun and moon, warmth and cold. As summer fades to autumn, you feel the change coming. Your body grows weaker despite adequate food. Your thoughts drift more frequently to the past. You find yourself speaking aloud to people long dead. Your father, Swift River, the old leader who survived the mammoth. One crisp morning, you wake knowing this day will be your last, not from illness or injury, but from that deep animal knowing all humans possess if they listen closely enough. You gather the last of your strength for a final task. Near the cave entrance, you dig a shallow pit in the soft earth. Into it, you place your most precious objects, the memory pieces, your tools, the wolf's teeth necklace you've worn for 30 years. You add a lock of hair from each of your children, saved since they were born. Finally, you sprinkle red ochre over everything and cover it with earth and stones. This, too, archaeologists will discover millennia later. They'll call it a ritual cache or symbolic burial. They'll be partly right. What they won't understand is that you're not just honoring the past, you're seeding the future. Some of these objects contain knowledge that will be rediscovered through painful trial and error over thousands of years. Others hold information that will be lost forever. The sun sets on your final day. You sit at the cave entrance, watching darkness claim the landscape. Stars appear one by one until the night sky blazes with more light than darkness. The same stars your ancestors watched for 400,000 years. The same stars your descendants will navigate by for the next 45,000. You close your eyes, draw a deep breath into Neanderthal lungs, evolved for cold European air. Feel the distinctive curve of your spine, the powerful muscles of your shoulders, the prominent brow that shades your eyes. This body, this specific configuration of bones and blood and brain, will disappear from Earth, but the essential parts, the most successful adaptations, will continue in the hybrid children, in their children, in an unbroken chain leading to modern humans, who will one day look back and wonder about their ancient relatives. As consciousness fades, one final thought brings a smile to your lips. They'll never be without you. Your DNA lives in their cells. Your knowledge shaped their cultures. Your adaptations helped them survive. You were never the end of a story. You were the beginning of another. The last pure Neanderthal closes his eyes for the final time. Outside the cave, snow begins to fall, covering the landscape in pristine white. The wheel of seasons turns. Life continues, adapts, evolves. And somewhere far away, a hybrid child dreams of ancestors with prominent brows and powerful bodies who passed down knowledge of stars and plants and animals, who taught them to survive in a world of ice and danger, who live on in the very fiber of their being. The circle remains unbroken.